How's it going, YouTube, and welcome back, and if you're new, welcome to a new episode on Life of Weebs. Now, I'm going to keep up to my promise that was in my bio from the beginning of fish keeping. I currently have a 4-foot fish tank sat in my living room that looks shocking. It's just got some rocks in there and the water won't clear because of the sand I used for the substrate. So I'm going to be completely tearing it apart and taking you along on the journey so we can make a budget-friendly fish tank. Now, to do that, I'm going into nature to grab the stuff that I need that I can get from there instead of spending hundreds upon hundreds of pounds for bits of wood and bits of rock and stuff like that in my local fish shop. So, glad you can join me on this journey. Let's get to it. So as you can see, I do have some wood and some rocks, so that is my confession. We did go to the beach and a woods the other day to go and collect, or start to collect, some things for the fish tank. Now, as you can see in this, in the boot, we have various different bits of wood, different shapes and sizes. It just proves a point though, that when all these people say that you've got to go to the beach or the river to go and get your wood and your rocks and stuff, you don't. Because you're going to cure it later on to make sure it's fish safe anyway. The main reason they say to do that is because it's already been waterlogged, the tannins have been taken out of it, and you won't get all the creepy crawly critters. But if you're going to cure it later, which you have to anyway, it will get rid of all of those regardless. Here's an example of a rock that I got from the beach the other day. Yes, it's covered in salt, but again, you're going to cure it, you're going to cure all of the rocks to make it freshwater safe anyway. And we've literally just pulled up and I found the perfect piece of wood to add to my collection that isn't rotting and is very, very good for my tank. It's not just a boulder, it's a rock. Take this one home. Now, as you can see, on this beach is predominantly grayer looking rocks. However, every now and then you do come across something with like multicolours in it. I think these are really, really nice because they give a little bit of contrast to the aquarium and brings it just a little bit more detail. Like the smaller stones, for instance, you've got like a crystal effect in the middle of them, which under an aquarium light will look absolutely phenomenal. Hey guys, before we continue, I'd like to make a disclaimer as to say that please make sure that wherever you go and get your materials from, whether it is a beach or a woodland, that it is completely public and none of it is privately owned. And please never take any more materials than you need for the project you are doing, or it could have adverse effects onto the ecosystems of those specific areas. And also never go and get your materials from our cliff sides. Please, and I cannot stress this enough, when you come to source your wood, never cut down a living tree. Never source any of your wood from any tree that is still living, as they are fundamental to all ecosystems planet-wide. And when it comes to the materials that you do have, please never sell them on privately, as you will be breaking the Wildlife and Countries Act of 1981 and the Coast Protection Act of 1949, which are just two acts that the UK government have put into place to just protect our wildlife and the ecosystems that surround them. Having said that, let's get back to the video. It's gonna be a good one. Okay, so as you can see, it is the next day. Today what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be draining this down, changing the substrate, and then on top of that, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start putting in the wood and the rocks to try and see what we want as our hardscape, and then take it from there. fish out that were already in there, and I've put them in the tank behind me. However, there are some in there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the water, because the substrate's on a gradual incline come to the back anyway. That all comes to the forge, makes it much easier to come and get them when the water's lower instead of all of this and they're swimming around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the hose with a net on the end and take the water out. The net is designed to stop the fish from going up through the tube and you're losing your fish, basically. Now we've got all the water out, I've mixed up the substrate at the bottom. I'm just going to remove that from the tank so we can get right down in there and give it a good old clean. Cleaned the glass, I've got most of the substrate out. The little bit that I've left in is going to be really good because it's full of beneficial bacteria for when I do put the new soil in. But now that I've cleaned up, it is time to put in the substrate and the sand just to give it that. Now that I've got my sand and my soil in, it's time to start fiddling around with the rocks and the logs just to see what kind of design we like, so that later on when it comes to putting them in and gluing them down, you know exactly what you're looking for. The rocks are now in. I'm going to put a little bit more like detail rocks in later on once we put the wood in and stuff. But I quite like the fact that there's white and there's like darker rocks. No idea why, I just feel like you've got two different islands there that are colliding in the middle, and it looks really, really elegant to me. Thank you for watching my video. As you can see, I've put the wood in now and it's looking really lovely in my opinion. Tomorrow or the next episode, I'll be doing it tomorrow, won't be out tomorrow. I am going to be gluing down the hardscape, so the wood to the rocks, because the wood has a tendency to float, and then filling it up and hopefully, if the wife allows me to, getting some plants to pop in this bad boy so we can just have it looking amazing, even more amazing than it already is. Alright, well, stay you, stay true, and I'll catch you in the next one.